input and outputs, right? So the way I like to look at this is, think about this, right? In anything that you want to do in life, right, there will be inputs, right? And then there will be outputs, right? And then basically there will be this machine, right, which will lead to the output that you desire, or the system that you design, which will lead to the, the whatever that you desire, right? And then what also happens is, over here, you must understand another thing that, plays a role into this is your environment, right? Now, if you can understand this concept, honestly, this is going to make you so much money, because when I did, I was like, wow, my mind was blown completely, right? Now, what do I mean by this? Well, whatever you're trying to do in life, turn it into a machine so that you can put the right kind of inputs and get predictable outputs, and make sure that your environment is built around that in order to support the same. Now, let me give you an example so that this concept becomes super, super simple. Let's take this money-making equation aside from for a second, right? Let's say your goal is to lose weight. I think 2 years ago, or around the COVID period, I had put on some weight because I was just like so involved with like work that I did not get time to focus on my health. Okay. So what did I do? I basically first broke down the machine into various kind of parts, right? If I want to lose weight, right, what all needs to happen for me to lose weight? Well, my machine that I was able to actually assemble, the first thing is, in order to lose weight, I need to get sleep. So I would just call that as S, right? In order to lose weight as well, the next thing that I needed was, of course, the right kind of diet, right? Then I needed workout, right? And I think, like, this is it. Again, I'm not a fitness coach or anything like that. Take this like with a pinch of salt. But point is that, let's say that these are the variables that you need as part of the machine in order to achieve my goal. Now, if I'm able to, let's say, the inputs that I'm feeding into the machine, right? Let's say the input that I feed into the machine is that I'm only sleeping 5 hours a day. I'm eating, let's say, calories worth, let's say my normal caloric intake, let's say, is like, 2000 calories, and I need to eat 1800 calories to be in a deficit and suddenly lose weight. But I'm eating, let's say, 2500 or 3000 calories. Let's say I need to work out a minimum of 3 times a week, but I'm working 0 times, right? I'm not going to the gym. So do you think if the input that I'm putting in is 5 hours of sleep, 3 calories a day, and 0 times workout, what do you think the output will be? Do you think I'll lose weight? The answer is probably not, right? And let's say that the environment that I'm surrounding myself in, or the environment that I'm currently in, consists of people who are going out every day, they're eating junk food every day, they're partying all day, kind of like how I had it in college. Do you think I will actually end up losing weight? Probably not, right? On the other hand, if I was to take these inputs, right, and I was just to say that, hey, you know what, rather than sleeping 5 hours, I would get like a healthy 8-hour sleep, right? I will eat 1800 calories, and I would work out, let's say, 3 times a week. And then the environment that I'm in consists of people who are a lot motivated, like myself. They go to the gym, they take care of their health, they are driven, right? And they don't like mess around and, get drunk during the week, right? Do you think my chances of success will increase, right? If I'm able to provide the right kind of inputs to my machine and, get the right kind of outputs and provide it with the right kind of environment? Absolutely yes, right? Now, how can I automate this, right? The next thing is, like, what if I'm able to automate this machine? Well, what I can do is, I could probably have an alarm go at, let's say, 10 p.m. where suddenly my room's lights go dark, right? And with one switch, maybe I'm like drinking some sort of special tea. Maybe I'm like, going away from screen time during this, before I go to bed, like 2 hours before. Let's say that I can automate this by getting a machine delivery or a food delivery company, which gives me healthy, proportionate food, which is 1800 calories. And let's say I could get like a person trainer who like more, pushes me, and I have like my clothes that I have to wear for the workout all ready next to me before I even have to think about it. If I could like take care of these variables, right, and automate the machine so that my chances of working super hard to achieve the outputs is high, and then I put myself forcefully in an environment like, with my clothes, with the right kind of people, etc., out there with the machine, with the food delivery company as well. If I'm able to provide these things to myself and make this all automated so that the decision making component within my brain is reduced, and this sort of becomes like a default, consistent, predictable machine, then my chances of losing weight would increase a lot higher. Why? Because now I'm providing the right kind of inputs to the machine, and the outputs that I will be getting would be a lot higher, and I'm also putting myself within the same environment. Now, similarly, if I was to take this into a business context, right? Let's say in order to grow a business, the things that you might require would be, let's say you require leads, require sales, and let's say you require fulfillment. Now, think about this, right? So the inputs that need within the machine are these, right? So that the output that you get equals, let's say, 1 million. Now, the question is, a lot of business owners, like, they come to me and they're like, Rohan, the business is not growing. I don't know what's happening. I'm so confused. I think this doesn't work. I think, business doesn't work. I think nothing works, right? I should give up. And when I ask them, what's the problem? I don't know, Rohan, something's a problem. I don't know what, right? This is how like most business owners operate, and it's like really annoying. And if you really look at it, I would ask them, okay, let's break this down into variable by variable. Let's look at the first one, which is leads, because you need leads for a business. If you don't get leads, how will you grow or scale? Well, when I ask people, how many leads did you get, or what's your source of leads, right? Firstly, most people don't even track this data, but let's say that they do. The question would be, are you able to get leads within KPI, right? If no, then the question is, what exactly is the problem, right? Now, if you want to like make this into like supermarket-y, you could understand that, hey, are we not getting enough clicks? This means your CTR is a problem. Are we not getting enough opt-ins? This means your landing page percentage is a problem, right? So if you're not getting enough clicks, maybe we need to like improve upon your ads or the kind of videos that you're making. If your landing page is not converting, then chances are that we need to improve upon your landing page. So by looking at the inputs and then analyzing the machine into different parts and different components of the same, I'm able to now diagnose the problem, right? Now, a lot of people might say, Ron, I'm getting a lot of leads, but they're not quality leads, right? This means then we can again look at your quality score, and then we could see why exactly that is happening. Now, let's say that you are getting leads, but you are not getting sales. People are opting in, but they're not buying. Then we can understand and look at variables like, hey, did you listen to your call recordings, right? Did you try to diagnose the problem that you're facing? Are you able to handle obstacles properly? Are you able to handle objections properly? Are you able to pitch properly? Or which part of the sales process is not working out according to the plan? And then let's say you do manage to get sales, but then the fulfillment breaks because your clients are not retaining, right? Maybe they are just like leaving your services after a couple of weeks or months, right? Then what measurements are we taking to improve upon the same? We can further break down the fulfillment into different categories as well. For example, your onboarding experience, how's that like? Your check-in call experience, how's that like? Your ascension experience, how's that like, right? So we can look at all these different kind of factors in order to really understand what needs to be changed. And the only way that this can be improved is once we change the right kind of inputs, make sure that each variable that we are feeding into the machine is working according to the plan so that it can give us the outputs that we desire, and we have the right kind of environment supporting the same. Now, let's say, for example, I'm trying to run this business and I'm surrounding myself with a bunch of 9-to-5 employees who keep telling me, don't do a business, go for security, and then, demotivating me all the time. Do you really think I'll make progress? No, I need to change my environment. I need to lead those people and, tell them like, go mind your own business, in order to really scale. So this is why understanding inputs and outputs is really, really awesome. And once you do this, I think like your life will be awesome.